Welcome to Innovate. Today I'll be taking you through the fundamentals, our beliefs at Innovate, and why you should be learning a tech skill and why you should be learning it at Innovate. At Innovate, we believe in putting humanity at the heart of technology. Our mission is to design human experiences by leveraging technology to solve real-world challenges, delivering integrated solutions that empowers individual and community to thrive. Our mission is to design human experiences by leveraging technology to solve real-world challenges, delivering integrated and innovative solutions that empowers individuals and communities to thrive. Our vision is to be a foremost human-centric technological company, solving human problems through integrated solutions. And this current program is in alignment with our mission and our vision. We want to empower young minds to be able to thrive in this current world, to thrive in this current economy. Why should you learn a tech skill? You should know that tech has come to stay. Regardless of your course of study, regardless of your background, tech is something that is taking over every career path. Myself, I studied accounting and I'm developing softwares today. Studying accounting does not limit my ability to develop software. It even increases my logical ability and makes me more viable to develop financial solutions. You should learn tech because you can use it to optimize whatever you study. For example, if you learn design, you could learn to tell your stories better by creating intuitive designs. If you are learning software development, you could learn to bring your ideas to life by creating software solution. There is no limit to it. And another part you would love to hear, money. There is actually money in tech if you stick around enough to know enough. That is, become an expert in whatever field you choose. So here's the deal. There are a lot of newbies in tech, and newbie actually means unproductive. If you are still at the stage where you are trying to learn to put everything together to make sense, but you are unable to produce an actual result. What is an actual result? An application, a software, a design, an analyzed data that can be used to make informed decisions. Those are results. So if you stick around enough to be an expert in your field, an expert does not mean you know everything. An expert also means you can create results from a raw input. If you are given a set of information, then you can process it using your digital skill and give your client an end result. Your skill is relevant locally and globally, and you don't even have to be searching around the way we know it before. You have to move from state to state to apply for jobs, travel from location to location. I know big brothers that are weighed out by this process of having to move from one location to the other searching for job. With your tech skill from the comfort of wherever you are, you can apply to jobs globally. And luckily, since COVID-19, the world has shifted and has been embracing remote work the more. And Africa is a main target when it comes to giving out remote work because it is a means of saving costs for other continents that has currency with higher purchasing power. And aside Africa, other continents, even within every continent, they are hiring people to work remotely. Having tech skill in your arsenal give you the opportunity to to leverage remote work, and it mostly pays more than what you would get locally. Tech gives you the freedom to build and innovate. As a software developer, you could start building software that you would be able to sell for billions of dollars in the future. As a designer, you could grow yourself to become an agency that would be a force to be reckoned with in the global market. Your relevance knows no limits. The only limit that can be placed on you is the one you placed on yourself. Now, why Innovate? At Innovate, we are equipping you with first-class tech skill using experienced teachers that has actually navigated the market and is here with market experience. We are not only teaching you the basics, we are not only teaching you the rudiments, we are not only teaching you tech, but we are combining it with real life and market experience that you need so that you would be able to thrive and navigate in a world that is highly competitive. We are here to help you tone down the competition. As a software development company, we also outsource talent for talent that we've been able to vet their skill set. So there is opportunity for some of our students to also work with us on our in-house projects, because we also build software as a service, and products are there to us. One of them is e-Portanet, a multiple school management system and attendance management system, simplifying attendance taking and making it easier for businesses globally. At Innovate, we will be combining all this experience to giving you hands-on skill that you can be able to deploy to make money, to make impact, and to make things better for everybody, including yourself. So next, I will be introducing you to basics of the computing world, of the technological world. So I'll try as much as possible to simplify how everything relates together so that you could understand why you are choosing what skill, the relevance of that skill, and possibly you might even choose to change your track, because each track has its own fundamentals and rudiments of human personality that it resonates to, for you to be able to excel in that particular track. I'll be using one of our products, e-Portanet, to explain the rudiments of tech. We've all been hearing tech, we've all been talking about tech, but tech still looks like a myth. Tech still looks like a very ambiguous term that we just mention without having an in-depth understanding of what actually entails. Stick to the end of today's class, stick to the end of this video, and you would go out explaining to tech to every other person like it's ABC. Tech involves bringing solutions to everybody, any category of person, digitally. When we say digitally, we mean through your mobile devices, through laptops, through smart devices. It can even be through televised devices, through media, through gadgets, and it could even be through a dedicated hardware device that is designed for it. Tech is a way to automate manual things through software and hardware. For example, our phones, our laptop are a processing power that has been pre-built to run different kinds of technological solutions. That is why you could see us running browser, running softwares that are built on these devices. And for some other companies, we have like refrigerators. These are tech solutions that is a custom machine solving only a single problem. We have a lot of technological devices, even to the extent of agriculture. You see automated farms where the cycle of wetting the plant, the cycle of feeding the animal is automated. All these are also technological solutions. In this particular training, we'll be focusing on software technological solution flow, and most of the software technological solutions would be learning to create and be part of the team would be used on either your mobile device or your laptops. These are devices used globally to get things done by everybody, people in different category of life. You'd also be learning to create content and create things that will be used on television devices. So these are also other forms of smart devices. Like I mentioned earlier, I'll be using one of our products, ePortanet, to explain the relationship between all the different tech fields that we'll be offering in this particular class. Although everybody will be going to their tech field, but it is important that you know the relationship between everything for you to understand the field completely, for you to understand it as a concept, as a whole, so that you don't feel disjointed from the whole ecosystem. You are not just learning a chunk without having an idea of how it is important. Whatever you learn in tech is a brick in a building. Your own could be the roofing, your own could be the foundation, your own could even be the wall painting. You are a component of a bigger system. The first stage in software development is always ideation. That is why you hear ideas rule the world. Some people will just come together, or a particular person, and will just think we need to be able to sell things online. I need to sell my product globally or nationally, and I needed to make it available to people. And that is how we see things like e-commerce solutions. That is how we see things like websites where you can sell your products. For us, we thought we have to make educational experiences and administration easier for parents, for teachers, for school owners. And that is how ePortanet was given birth to. There are various solutions that are addressing this problem, but we are looking at it from a very different angle. Simplicity, affordability, and usability. We want schools that doesn't have the multi-million to build their own portal to have access to our solution. We want to build a very robust solution that is having no error, with swift action, swift customer experience for the school owners whenever they are facing any form of challenge. And we want the platform to be accessible and easy enough. We've seen a lot of solutions that become so clustered because of the number of features that it is unclear for the school owners and the administrators to know what they do. So we embarked on this journey with the desire to make it simpler, to make it affordable, and for the affordability, we make our pricing model to be based on the number of students registered on the platform, except where the school indicates to have a different kind of deal. As a result of this, the first stage is to ideate. Your ideation stage would involve a lot of paperwork, a lot of handwritten documents, a lot of computer written documents, a lot of Excel spreadsheets, doing financial projection. It would involve a lot of sketch. So you just have to, whenever you have ideas, documentation is important. Is one of the first stage. You have to learn to document what you are thinking. The brain is thinking of a lot of things daily that you cannot always recall whatever you think. And your thought process is as a result of a very hard work that the result should never be lost. So when you have an important idea, Jot it down to the details. Every T's, every dot, make sure you cross it. Jot it down. So it's very important. It's after jotting it down, you'll be able to start expatiating on the idea. You'll start knowing the first thing that you need to do. Then we now go to the next stage, which is one of the first stages of execution. Different teams follow this stage in different order, but I'll give you the order in which we follow it here. So we go to PRD, Product Requirement Document. After fleshing out the idea and we have a basic knowledge, note you don't have to solve all the problem. You just need a basic knowledge and an in-depth domain knowledge of the problem you are trying to solve. What we mean by in-depth domain knowledge, if you are going to educational field, you have to make a lot of research on education and also make a lot of research around education so that you are making decision based on data. Don't ever make decision based on emotion or what you think. Decision should be based on data. After generating a product requirement document, this would tell us what is needed to be achieved and some of the stages and the steps that you have to pass through to achieve these results. After the product requirement document, we now go to design. So for us, we go to UI UX design. So UI UX, I would explain it as an advanced graphic design. We are all used to flyer. The difference between flyer designs and UI UX is flyer is static, is not living, there's no breath in it. Once you print it out, once you put it out there, it's there. So UI UX is a design that is dynamic, that shows how a web application, how a solution, even if it's game, how the game would look like when it is actually out. So it is at this stage you start arranging, you start putting things. So if you love colors and if you love to communicate, if you love to tell stories using visuals, this is one of the best track you could go for. One of the mistakes that people make about design is that design is all about beauty. Design is beyond beauty. Design is a deliberate effort to communicate with your target audience, make sure they get the message, and make sure it's easy for them to use. Design is telling the story of a brand in such a way that the target audience of the brand will internalize the values of the brand, and customer retention is also very important. That is why we have the user experience part of it. The user experience would be used to determine the user onboarding flow, the user journey on the application, what step each user takes and how they feel about it. So this would help to ensure that we keep our users whenever they use our application. After the design stage, then the front-end developer comes into the stage. The front-end developer is responsible for taking the product design, the user interface and the user experience and turning it into something that you can actually view on your browser, what you can check on your Chrome, bringing it to life. While the front-end developer is doing their work, the back-end developer is working on the business part of the application. The business part of the application involves how the application data is saved, how it is retrieved, how it is updated, how it is deleted, and how it connects with other services. All these logics and all these decisions, all this architecture are needed to be in place in order to ensure that the business data is properly saved and is in line with the requirement of the product. Once the back-end developer has prepared some data, the front-end developer connects to it. There are different ways of connecting to the back-end service in different development stack, but most of the common ways we'll be hearing about API, HTTP, WebSockets. These might be foreign to you as of today, but in the next few days or weeks, you'll be so familiar with these terminologies. The send, it's majorly a request and a response, just similar to me calling your name and you responding to the call. The front end sends requests to the back end and the back end gives response. If your application involves something like login and the user enters the username and the password, the front end person is the one responsible for designing that form, collecting the data entered in that form, and is transported to the back end. The back end will be responsible for saving the data or checking if it's a valid data and returning that this user is registered and this password is correct, or any other error messages. As this progress continues, and if we are lucky enough, which should be the case 90%, 99% of the time, we have a working solution. That is when we have DevOps come into play. DevOps are the ones that are responsible for building the architecture for running the software. Most of the time in smaller teams, this is done by the backend developer to put the application online where it can be globally accessible by anybody through a native application, that is Android app, iOS app, Windows app, or through a domain name on the browser. Either way, softwares are distributed using native applications or hosted online and accessed over the domain and with the domain name over the internet. Once you have a working application, your applications begin to gather a lot of data. Your applications begins to get a lot of users. Your users start buying products. For Internet, our users start creating schools. Schools start adding students. They start adding results. They start adding administrators. Over time, when there is a large volume of data sets that has been collected, then we need to make meaning out of this data. Hidden within any data are information that could lead to more sales. In the case of a school management system, the school would want to know the performance of each student in each subject by each teacher. They would want to know the performance of students over a period of time. Would build a lot of trend out of it. This is where data analysis comes into play. A data analyst will take this data and start performing analysis on it in order to make decisions. At the end of the day, the school would be able to know that students are performing in this course, student needs to improve in this course. Even the parents would see the performance of their children or guardian or the children that they are overseeing over time. This would let you know what to change and what not to change. It is the work of a data analyst to collect data sets. It can be in different forms. One of the most popular is Excel spreadsheet. From Excel spreadsheet, we have database technologies. You'll be getting used to MySQL. From SQL, we have JSON, so we could export data to JSON format. It's a global way. We have comma separated values. Don't worry if these terms are still foreign to you, you would get used to them. These data are collected by the data analysts and they are processed. From data analysis, we have data scientists. Data scientists takes advantage of programming languages to automate and do a lot of data aggregation, data manipulation, data cleanup, and it is the work of data scientists to even build solutions on data, aggregating it and doing a lot of cleanup, deep index analysis, That's when we go deeper, we get to machine learning, we get to artificial intelligence. Data scientists are responsible for a lot of build models around data. Models are a way of getting a consistent result when data is entered into it. That is why you'll be exposed to a lot of things: perplexity, data integrity, probability of the confidence interval. These are things that are related to data. And as you're building your brand, you need to get information out there to people to let them know more about what you do. That is where design comes in. Design is part of the marketing effort, the presentation of your brand to external, to investors, to stakeholders. You would need to do a lot of graphics design that are in relation and speak a consistent language about your brand. That is where you have to go beyond graphics. You have to have a brand identity. And also, to improve the marketing effort, we have the social media marketing. This is the team that is responsible for making your visibility online to be top notch, to make your product visible. The best product is not the best if nobody knows about it. And online space is a good place to sell. And part of this ingredient that social media marketers will be using to sell is graphics and content. Graphics content, video content, audio content, meme content. It is the work of content creators to create this content for social media marketers to strategically use them on the internet and even off the internet. We've seen businesses doing road shows, we've seen businesses doing trade fair, we've seen businesses doing a lot of things to ensure they take more of the market share, to ensure they are known. I think I've been able to cover a lot of the skills. Okay, I was omitting cybersecurity. After building a secure application, you need to ensure that attackers does not take advantage of loopholes that are left in your software development process as a result of human error. There is this saying in the software development field: at the heart of every security system is a weakness. It is built by man, and man is not perfect. Regardless of how much a man can be careful, there is always a loophole in systems. That is why we need the work of a cybersecurity expert to test, to analyze software and look for the loopholes, make recommendations, and the software development team will block these loopholes by writing software solutions, by writing patches. In the cybersecurity world, we have white hat hackers, we have black hat hackers. They are doing the same thing, they have the same skill set, but their motive is what makes them different. The white hat hackers are the ones that work on behalf of organizations to identify these loopholes, and the organization will be able to fix it, while the black hat are the ones that want to take advantage of it to scam the organization, to withdraw money. For example, in software development, there are a lot of popular loopholes that are taken advantage of. We have the cross-site referencing, that is XSS attack. We have SQL and JavaScript injection. We have what we call time race attack. This is most popularly used in financial system, fintech. You have a balance of 1,000 naira and you now open the application on 2 different machines, or let's say 100 virtual machines, and you try to withdraw at the same time. You know the software will try to check, do you have a balance of 1,000, and returns yes. So if 1,000 different virtual machines are able to return yes at the same time, then the hacker will be able to withdraw 100,000 naira. This is a form of time race attack, and many other attacks. We have distributed denial of service that does not allow your users, legitimate users, to have access to your software. One of the easiest mitigation to this is Cloudflare. They've done a lot of things in order to help reduce this. Cloudflare is a solution in tech. Let's say the free advert. A lot of other threats that exist in the technology world. It is the work of a cybersecurity expert to test and test, so none of this particular track can be underestimated. Everybody works together to build a solid system. Smaller teams focus on software development and design, but as your product grows, you would want to integrate every other person because you need it in order to have a complete solution that is globally available, accessible, used, and one of the major reasons of businesses to generate revenue. You are welcome to our software development class. You are welcome to Innovate. In this particular training, you would go from being a newbie to being an expert, and you know the definition of expert by now, to be able to deliver solutions. Once again, I welcome you. Thank you. I'm rooting for you.